You're watching Stuck in Middle Podcast. This is a platform for entrepreneurs, innovators, and creators from African descent. We hear stories, ideas, and experiences on how we can break the mold. I want to tell you this episode is brought to you by our online store. Your support means a lot. So if you visit sitmpodcast.com, shop Stuck in Middle Podcast, we appreciate that. We've also partnered with Perfect Office Solution to bring you this episode. They provide affordable, professional, flexible office space for DMV entrepreneurs in over 7 locations. So hit them up, let them know we sent you. You get 10% off your lease if you use promo code SITM Podcast. Again, that's Perfect Office Solution. Listen, appreciate you if you are checking out for the first time. If you are a return listener, hit that subscribe button if you have not. And I'm excited for this podcast. We got a special guest in the building. We are on all social media platforms, SITM Podcast. Listen, my guest in the building today, she is an entrepreneur, a podcast host, a digital content creator. Most will know her will call her a womanist, an occasional foodist, and your local Jesus-loving woman empowerment podcast host for Convo With Moe. We got Moe Digga in the building, yo.
Hey, what's poppin'? What's poppin'?
What's up? Welcome, Mo.
It's lit.
You lit.
We lit. I'm
Hey,
excited
listen,
to be here.
I want to start like this, right? You started your career in the, digital marketing and content creating in 2014, and like we're 4 years removed from that, and you've grown your YouTube page to 4,000 subscribers. What was it in 2014 that said, "Listen, I'm going in front of the camera to create content"?
You know what? I feel like so I got saved in 2014, but before that, I feel like God was like working in me. He was like molding me. I always did talent shows when I was a kid. Like I was always pressed to be in front of the camera, and I did like broadcast journalism in high school. But I never really, saw that as my passion. I actually didn't even have a passion, because when you're young, like you just do stuff for fun.
Facts.
Yeah, you just play basketball, you just play sports, you just do it because you do it. I feel like when I got saved, then it was like a revelation. Like, okay, you are a creative. Like all these little things that you've done growing up, your little talents, that's something that I have purposed for you. So I feel like once I got saved, God was like, okay, all right, like we taking your talents to South Beach. You know what I'm saying?
Straight up, like
we taking your talents
some
to South
people
Beach.
argue though, like like take a little bit of time and like learn some stuff before you go. You were just like,
no, head first. Like and that's how I do everything, because I feel like time is a wasting. Somebody else, I read something that like, you're calling yourself an aspiring writer, but there's some white man somewhere that's done less work than you, and he's calling himself a published author. You know what I mean? So like I was like, oh nah, I'm coming in hard. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if everybody says I can't do it. I'm a YouTuber. I'm doing it. I'm going in front of the camera. I don't even know what kind of equipment this is. I don't even know if this is going to come out good, but I'm doing it.
Yeah. At the time too though, you know what I'm saying? Like when every day it seemed like a new page was popping up on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What was it about your voice that you said, listen, I need to add my voice to the conversation? What was it in your head that said, like, I'm bringing a different perspective to the conversation that that you were bringing?
So I guess for me, it was more so that like I felt like I couldn't find anybody that I could relate to. So I was like, I know I'm not the only one like me on this earth. You know what I mean? Like I know that there's someone, I know that there's someone else on this earth that's looking for my opinion or an opinion similar to mine that I can't find, that's not as easily accessible. So I was like, let me bring my opinion. A young African college girl that wasn't raised in the church but is now saved and going through the motions of, being oppressed as a black woman in general, or just like being oppressed as a Christian, or the pros of being a Christian and things like that. So yeah.
What was out there at that time?
It was a lot of like, Heather Lindsay, no shade. I've actually met her. She's a really sweet person. It's a lot of Heather Lindsay, Dana Chanel, really like sprinkle of Jesus, fun. Like, yes, ladies, we can do it. But like, it wasn't getting down to the nitty gritty because like I said, I wasn't raised in church. So I was in the club, I was drinking, and there was no consciousness. So to come to a place where you're listening to people who Christianity has been their whole life because they're PKs, and it's like, oh yeah, I knew how to stop going to the club because I knew I wasn't supposed to be. Like I didn't know why I couldn't go to the club. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I felt like because that was all that was out there, and it was very like cookie cutter Christian and a little bit oppressive as far as like being a woman and understanding your role in the church and who you're supposed to be and how outspoken you're supposed to be. I feel like there wasn't a voice for that. So I was like, I'm gonna be the voice of that. I'm gonna talk about it, because one thing that I always say is that I feel like God made me stubborn for a reason. And like, people try to say, oh, that's a spirit, like, you stubborn, that's not of God. But I don't believe that.
You are stubborn.
Yeah, I am stubborn. I'm really stubborn. I can, it can be a fault at times, but I don't believe that like it's something that God put in me. It was like, this is get rid of this, because it's the reason why I'm like, oh, I'm not listening to you, I'm starting my channel, or I'm not listening to you, I'm starting my podcast, or I'm not listening, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not.
You're going. Sorry to cut you. You're going in head first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, you just get in the jump. What was the struggles? In starting this? Because like I said, 5 years removed from that, and you're glowing. You're doing the thing.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm sure there were struggles. And you still face them. So what are those?
So going back to my stubbornness, that can also, like I said, be a fault. I guess some of the beginning struggles were, not consistency. So like, consistency was that's something that I had to learn, being consistent, because when you first start, there's nobody that's, you don't have super fans, or you don't have people that, go hard for you, like, where's the next podcast, or where's the next YouTube video, or even after you start and you're like plateauing, there are people that kind of just are like, what's up, so consistency was a little bit of a struggle. Also learning new equipment, learning new softwares and things like, and having to grow is always difficult. It doesn't matter what stage of your career you're in, that's always difficult. And what were some other things? Oh, conforming. And so conforming to, like, not wanting to turn into the next Heather Lindsay, or not wanting to turn into the next Dana Chanel, but wanting to be the next Moe Digga. You know what I mean? Not wanting to see the easy way out. Oh, if I say this, I'll know I'll get 100,000 plays. But I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? That's not my ideology. So I'm not gonna do that. So things like that were kind of hard in the beginning.
What's your team like? You know what I mean? Now, is it just Moe, or how have you grown?
So it really is just Moe as far as the core. So like, I produce all my content, create all my content. Everything that is out on my platform is created and made by me. But I do have a support team. So I have like my brother Lawrence Green. Shout out to Lawrence Green. He's been a co-host on a couple of my podcasts. He was also there at the live podcast. My boyfriend is the best. Like, he is just an amazing support system as far as like, when's the next podcast, financially helping me as far as buying new equipment and stuff like that, and even hosting the podcast. He was a great help there.
He didn't help you come on time though.
He didn't help me come on time today. He
kidding.
did not. He was like, I was like, hey babe, how far is this Stuck in the Middle podcast? And he was like, it's about like 15 minutes. I looked at the GPS. That joint is 33 minutes. Right. I said, hey, this boy. Right. But anyways,
he just wants to spend more time with you. So
no,
okay,
literally.
I understand.
But I have people like, just people that are really supportive as far as social media, and I'll name just like a few really quickly. My best friend, Makeup by Nemo, Noella, is just always supporting the ting. Like, anything I drop, it's on her story. I have friends like Peace. Dang, I can't remember everybody. I know Bridget Manful is very supportful, supporting. Project D30, shout out to Project D30, because we always collab, and they are always hella supportive. They were even there at the live podcast. I just have a really good support system as far as helping me elevate to the next level. Envision Fest, who I have a partnership with, they're amazing at always putting me on their platform.
Hey, shout out to Project 330. We have an episode, and we'll check it out if you haven't. I want to ask you, though, what are some of your fears, biggest fears as far as being in the public eye, speaking about such weighty topics that you talk about?
My biggest fear... Wow, this is like a heavy question, because I've never actually thought about that. I try to go into it blind, and like, if I get canceled, I'll get canceled.
Cancel culture strong.
Cancel culture is strong. Maybe that's one of my biggest fears, is being canceled. But like, the thing about cancel culture is like, it's strong, but it's fake strong. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people have come back from cancel culture. Like, Doja Cat was canceled. Like, and she just, Jordan Woods was canceled, and she's like the glow queen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like if I ever got canceled, I'm coming back 10 times harder. So play with me if you want to.
Hey.
Yeah, like, no, I feel like being wrong is one of my biggest fears, because I am a firm believer in the only thing that I will stand 110% behind is that Jesus came, he died, and he rose. You know what I'm saying? But like, as far as my stances on certain topics, I'm always praying, Lord, I pray that this does align with your word. As much as I believe that it does, I pray that it does align with your word. And if it doesn't, reveal it to me. But I think being wrong and not aligned with God is my biggest fear. Yeah.
You have a quote. You said God is the best connector, and that's an influencer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you network with different people.
Yeah.
From different walks of life in different settings.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about, you know what I'm saying, like that phrase and the impact it has with you as an influencer.
So I don't like to form, what are they called?
Clicks?
Like, I definitely don't do clicks. I hate clicks. I'm like, when I see clicks, I'm like, I need to go left. But I also do hate relationships that aren't natural. So like forcing connecting, you know what I'm saying? Forced networking is like my biggest, I'm like, just stay away from me. So I really like to believe that naturally, because look at our relationship. This is a very natural moment right now. Like, this is not some you reached out and it was like some, super, like, it's like, oh, not Flex. Like, I love Flex. Like, I'd love to come on Stuck in the Middle podcast. But I hate, like, things that are like, oh, like, this is God ordained is what I'm trying to say. But like, I hate things that are like forced. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like, I'm trying to get something from you. So like, I want to
do this and that.
Yeah, I just feel like if it's God ordained, like, it's going to happen. Like, never force things. Like, God is the biggest plug. He going to help you network. Like, I just got I have this one friend, and I'm going to keep it very like,
shallow.
Yeah, thank you. Shallow. So like, I have a one friend that I've met through just natural occurrences in meeting in different spaces. She brought me to a few events, just like, oh, let's hang out. I'm going to this PR thing. Let's go. I'm like, oh, for sure. Like, let's go. I ended up on the PR list of the events that we went to, like, via just being there and being in that space, and got invited to this super big event, which was really awesome. And the reason I say that is because I'm not like forcing that network. You know what I'm saying? It was a natural occurrence. So I believe that, like, if you're supposed to be somewhere, as long as you're putting in the work, you know what I'm saying, in a natural way, God is going to provide the, avenues and things like that for you to network.
I like it. I like it. I want to get to know you a little bit, for people who don't. You from Ghana?
I am from Ghana. I'm
born?
Ghana babe.
Where you born?
I was born here, but I lived in Ghana for the first 4 years of my life.
I said, go back home and go and learn some manners.
No, seriously. Like, they were like, yo, get her out of here. She's wild. At 2 months, they was like, get her out. Nah, not really. I mean, they always send us back because it's easier. It's free for our grandparents to take care of us.
Facts.
They was like, next. Yeah, so they took me home and my little brother home. I was like 1 and he was like 3 months, I think.
Dang.
Yeah, we were there together till we were like 4 and 3, I think. And then we came back. I grew up in Jersey. I lived in Jersey till I was 16. I moved here to live with my dad. My parents split up, then my mom passed, so I moved here to live with my dad. Went to VCU, came back, lived in Alexandria. Now I'm living in Bowie.
I was gonna ask if you married, but you say you have a boyfriend. Is he prospect?
He's a prospect.
Hey, shout out to you.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know if we going anywhere else.
Where did you go to college?
VCU,
Virginia.
Commonwealth University.
Undergrad or grad?
Undergrad.
Where did you study?
Mass comm. Yeah, no grad for me. No,
hey.
Thank you.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just feel like, at least for me and my platform, like, I don't. Maybe in the future, but I don't feel like I necessarily need it. Everything is really homegrown. I haven't gotten a revelation that that's where God wants me. So
I feel like VCU is where you got the name Moe Digga, and I want to get what's the story behind that name?
It's really dumb. It's really dumb. Like, it's nothing juicy. Like,
let me hear it.
All right, I actually got it in high school. I have a deep voice for a girl. Like, my voice is really low, and every time I say that, I make my voice even lower. My voice is really low. But I have a very deep voice for a girl, and one day I came to school and like I had like a sore throat or something, so I was sounding like this, and it was like, yo, you sound like Rah Digga the rapper. And literally it was just like Moe Digga, and I liked it so much because I used to be really insecure about my voice. But I started listening to Rah Digga. I was, oh, she's cool. I was like, yo, I like her. Like, she sounds cool. So I was like, I'm gonna stick with it. I like Moe Digga. Like, it's cool. I kept it, and people literally think my last name is Diggs because I go by like Moe Diggs. Yeah. I'm like, no, it's definitely African as heck. Like, but that's neither here nor there.
I don't want to put your whole government out there, but what's your first real name?
My first name is Maud.
Maud.
Yeah.
Moude. Maud. Shout out. So what do you mean when you say you're a womanist?
I feel like in this day and age, there is, the basis of what like a feminist / womanist is just someone who advocates for the rights of women, right? I like to call myself a womanist because I feel like there's a lot of negative connotations behind a feminist. There's a lot of radicals, but just like any other, you know, advocacy group, there's radicals in anything. Even there's radical Americans, there's radical Christians, there's radical Muslims, there's radical anything. So for me, I personally like to stay away from the name feminist, and I like to stick to womanist just because, you know, I'm fighting for the rights of women. When you say feminist, it gives it like femme, like
negative
yeah,
connotation.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, women, I'm fighting for the rights of women, especially with a core or with a focus of women in the church who have been silenced. Yeah.
Man, that's deep.
It is.
What is some, you know what I'm saying, some of the things that, you know, men can help to bring that to the
forefront
to the forefront to the conversation and do better for the sisters in the church?
I feel like not just as simple as not ignoring it. So I feel like sometimes when it comes to like, you know, rape in the church, molestation, abuse, mental and physical abuse, there are men who sit and just watch and just, you know, it's none of my business. This is my leader. This is my pastor. You know, leaving the church is not only a big step, but it, you know what I'm saying? It's a step. Speaking up is an even bigger step. You know what I'm saying? Bringing attention to it. But to just sit there and be silent, you know, while you're seeing things go on in the church that don't align with not only the word of God, but just your inner spirit, like your inner being. Like you sitting there, you see the pastor's dating 3 girls, like, and it's hurt. It doesn't bother you. Or the pastor's dating a girl half your age that you're supposed to be dating. Or the pastor is sleeping with the secretary and you're silent. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, the youth leaders are like, you know what it's just a lot that goes on that men just are silent to because they're like, it's the male anatomy, or like this is, you know what I'm saying, boys will be boys, but like helping those narratives and sitting there and allowing things like that to go down, I feel like that's when you are at fault. That's when it now has become your problem and you are the culprit, not only the leader or the pastor. Yeah.
And this is some of the things that you talk about on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
What's where can people find your stuff?
You can find me at Moe Digga on YouTube. I am on a YouTube hiatus currently, but you can also find me at A Convo With Moe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and what's the other one? SoundCloud.
Why are you on that hiatus?
I just felt like I just needed a break, and it was easy. I just needed a break from YouTube. It was easier for me to create podcasts. It's more natural for me. I mean, being in front of the camera is extremely natural for me, but it's easier to podcast. You just sit, you record. And you guys do visual podcasts. I don't. It's just like audio. That's it. You know, you get it done, and then you put it up, and that's it. Next week.
We're gonna get into the podcast, but you know, what are some of what's the dynamic on like your podcast? You know, how long is it? What are some of the topics? Do you have guests or?
I do. So I always have guests. I've done like 3 solo ones, and they're always super short because I just feel like I'm rambling. But people say I'm not. I feel like I am, but that's neither here nor there. There is always guests. I always have people that I know. I don't like to have strangers on the podcast because I don't know what you're gonna say.
Fact,
you know, and not that I like to monitor people's, you know, like what they can say, but I just, you know, I care about my audience. Fact. And I don't want any foolery on the pod. I always have people that I know, like I said, friends, family. Sometimes I've had like my little sister come on and she was just saying whatever anyways. I always make sure that like it's very natural, you know? So like I don't have a script, or I barely stick to like a outline or a guideline, just because it's called a convo. A convo and Moe. So a lot of the times my podcasts I've started because I'm on a move with my girls and the topic gets really heated, and I'll be like, all right, y'all, hold on, let's get on the couch and let's just start recording, and then that's how it'll start. Because I really like a lot of my topics even are normally just because we're sitting around chatting, and I'm like, somebody wants to hear about this. That's not just us in these 4 walls. Like, people need to hear about this. So that's how I guess the dynamic of it is very loose, very natural, very Yeah, just like natural.
You killing it, man. Check it out. Now, you're an occasional foodist, as you like to call yourself.
Occasionally.
I follow you on a couple YouTube, channels, so Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm always perplexed though at how you're able to get free dessert. Like, fam, what are you doing?
The finesse.
What are you doing?
So I have worked in the food industry for like 6-7 years, and so I know all the schemes, the finagles, the everything. Whenever if I go out to eat with my boyfriend, my family, anybody, I'm always like, anytime I always make the reservation. All you gotta do is say it's your anniversary, it's your this, it's your that. Yo, one time, let me tell you guys. One time I and not even like restaurants. One time I was going to a hotel. It was just me. I made the reservation. I said, me and my husband are celebrating our 4-year anniversary.
I like how you emphasize it was just me.
It was just me. It was. Oh yeah, you gotta let them know. Yeah, because they gonna try to ham it. Nah, it was just me. Me and my husband are going on a 4-year anniversary. Please, I would like for you guys to make it special. While I went in that room, they had a bottle of wine, complimentary Voss water, free complimentary Voss water, complimentary chocolate covered almonds. I was just like, yo. And then they had a card. It said, Mr. and Mrs. my last name, thank you so much for joining us. We love, like, da-da-da-da. Please leave a review. Woo, 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 woo. Yo, the way I left that Yelp, I was in that room by myself eating my chocolate covered. Da-da-da-da. I was watching Netflix. I was in bed, had my glass of wine, my Voss water. And Voss water is expensive. I kept them bottles. I took them bottles home. You just got to know how to work the system because they just want a good review. And they have that, they get that stuff for the low. When I go to restaurants, especially if it's me and my boyfriend, I'll be like, it's our anniversary. It's never our anniversary. Like, I don't even think on our actual anniversary we said it was our anniversary. It's never our anniversary. We always get free dessert, free champagne, or free appetizer.
Start doing this by chatting.
No, I'll even be like, oh yeah, it's my birthday. We went out to the Crab Shack. It was like, it's his birthday. They took half off our bill. It was, y'all playing. I don't never pay full price.
Hey, so as a foodist, what's your go-to order from your local favorite restaurant?
My go-to favorite restaurant, I never, you know what? So I don't actually have what do I like? I like crab legs. So I'm always eating at seafood places, but I don't really post that. I am big on Michelin star. I don't like to eat anything anyhow. My boyfriend knows this, any anniversary, birthday, anything, he knows the bill gotta be high because Moe likes to eat. I like to eat well, and so what I do is I won't spend money on fast food. I don't be getting Chick-fil-A like everybody does. I don't go to Popeyes. I don't like to eat fast food all crazy unless it's like salads from Sweet Green. That's my guilty pleasure. I like salads from Sweet Green. But
from Sweet.
I like salads. ASMR. No, but
Chick-fil-A salad bomb.
I don't like Chick-fil-A. I don't like fast food salads. I think they're gross. I think they're meant to be gross so you can get the good chicken. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they're meant to be nasty. They're really nasty.
Dang.
My boyfriend likes Chick-fil-A sandwiches, Chick-fil-A salads though.
He be eating Chick-fil-A ice.
He be eating Chick-fil-A. We're not gonna get into that.
Yeah, I bet.
But I like high-end Michelin, really high-level rated restaurants because I feel like if you're gonna spend more than $60 at a restaurant, you better not be at TGI's or you better not be at some chain where they don't care about what grade the meat is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I at least want them to care about what they're presenting to me, and I send my food back.
Yeah, I feel like you the type.
I am. When me and my boyfriend go out to eat, if his food come out wrong, he be like, babe, chill. I be like, excuse me. I be like, This is not what he ordered. We went out to eat the other day. We was in New York. And his food came out wrong, and I was like, I'm just gonna not say anything. He don't even be caring. You just eat your food. He was like, bro, you're not gonna say anything. I was like,
you don't set the precedent.
Right. Now he's like, bro, you just gonna let me eat this cold. Da, da, da. I'm like, bro, you say you don't be caring. He's like, son, no, bro, we can't pay for this.
That joke was he must have been really bad. Then.
It was, yeah. He don't be caring about that.
Yeah.
He was like, son, no,
no.
But anyways.
Yeah, man. I want to pivot back though. You mentioned you're on a hiatus on from YouTube. Sometime I think last year, probably was this year, you actually deleted or restarted your whole Twitter.
I did.
I want to ask you, as a creative, You know what I mean? How hard was that to, you know what I'm saying? Like, and why did you go through that? Why did you do that? Because that must have been hard as somebody, you know, amass such following and say, I want to start over.
You know what, though?
Because right now, you're seeing on like 300. You know
I am.
like,
no, it's true. It's a humble 3.
Yeah.
It's a humble 3, but I would rather have an authentic 3 than like a 2,000 followers and nobody's engaging with you. That was I'm big on engagement. Like, I don't like fake followers. I don't like that stuff. Makes me so mad when I see it. So I'm just like, why do I have 2,000 followers and I'm only getting 2 likes on my tweets or 2 retweets on my tweets when these are some fire you know, when you work hard on your tweets,
right? You get a punctuation, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you put it in your notes and everything. Like,
yeah, you had that joint ready from like last week.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
like, it's only getting 2 likes. What's this? I'm putting up a picture of my own face. My face is only getting 5 likes. What's this? No. I was like, nah, I'm really big on, and not that stuff, like, it gives me self-worth or anything, but I really do care about engagement and just, like, really connecting with the people that you are, that people that follow you. So I was like, I need to delete this and start over and just have people that actually care about my content follow me. I haven't posted it on Instagram that I made a new Twitter or anything like that. But yeah, like, I thought it was a good idea, and I feel like it's been a great idea because I've been getting more engagement because the people that follow me care about what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a big thing for me. I think that was a great move, Mo.
So as you know, your logo, as you would answer to Jesus Loving Women Empowerment podcast host, what are some of the, you know, feedback you're getting from your followers, from your listeners, from your across your channels?
You know what's crazy? I actually don't spend too much time focusing on remarks from people, which is like so backwards. But yeah, like, I try to just, like, put it out and go. You know what I'm saying? Put out the content and go. I keep a very small group of people that I do value their opinions because I feel like that's how you grow. If you're listening to too many opinions and too many people, you may switch and do something that's not necessary. You know what I'm saying? So I keep a very small circle of people that I do listen to their opinions. But according to my little small group, you know, we're growing, it's doing well. I also am very big on, like, not moving when I feel like God is telling me this ain't it, because it was God that pushed me to start, you know what I'm saying? And it was God that told me to take a break from YouTube and focus on the podcast, and then we were able to host such a great event, you know? So I try to move when God tells me to move, or at least when I feel it, because sometimes it's not a big voice and burning bush. Sometimes it's very, like, stirring in your, you know what I'm saying? Or just, like, your heart, you know? So
yeah.
That's that. They say we doing all right.
Yeah, you're doing good. You're also an entrepreneur, though.
Yes, I am.
Co-founder of the Diff Shop.
Yes.
What is the Diff Shop, and what y'all doing?
So the Diff Shop is, I like to call it a faith-based clothing apparel line, I guess. If you've ever heard of, like, God is my boast tees or God is my boast sweaters, that the Diff Shop is the home of that. Yeah, we just create faith-based apparel. We also create merch for Foggy Raw, the rapper, and yeah, that's my little baby. It's its own entity, so I try not to really, like, make it like a Moe Digga thing. But yeah, that's my little passion project.
As a co-founder, though, you know what I'm saying, of a successful brand, how do you make sure, I guess, from the onset that you are picking the right partner to, you know what I'm saying, like, co-found something?
You gotta be on one accord, and there also has to be compromise. That's something that we learned early on, that you're not always gonna get your way, you know what I mean? And sometimes you're wrong, and I feel like that was a bit hard for me. But I made a decision for the brand one time, and it was a really bad decision, and I was like, oh, okay, I can be wrong. Yeah, like, I'm not a genius, you know? And so that's something that, and, you know, likewise, my partner has also made decisions that were wrong. And what we do is we allow each other to make those decisions. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, let's keep moving forward. But, you know, it's just like working together. It's not yours. You have to understand that it's not yours. It's a partnership, and you work with your partner, and your both of your main interests should never be from you to be right, but for the brand to grow, you know? So, yeah. I
dig it, man. I can't close this interview without bringing up your newest baby.
What's my newest baby?
Ghana Girls Connect.
Ghana Girls Connect.
LLC.
LLC. We out here. We a full nonprofit.
What's that?
So we Ghana Girls Connect. Let me shout out the founder is Bridget Manful. She is the president and the founder of Ghana Girls Connect. I am the VP and social media and marketing manager. We just created this platform. She created this platform. I snuck up under her and was like, I am 110% here.
Yeah, you saw the vision.
Yeah, I saw the vision from a mile away. I was like, babe, who's helping you? I'm here. Basically, pardon me, it's to create a platform for Ghana girls to just be able to connect. It's called Ghana Girls Connect for a reason. I feel like, there's a bunch of platforms where it's like Ghana baddies and like, the page that you send your picture to get 100 followers, but there's not like an actual Ghana Girls Connect page where you get to learn about other entrepreneurs, other creatives, other doctors, other engineers, and we were like
stuck in the middle.
Yeah, okay. This is for all of Africa though. We're doing Ghana.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like there wasn't another page where you could find out about all these Ghanaian women that are killing the game. And so we were like, okay, we started the Ghana Girl Spotlight, and that's been going crazy. So we're basically a hub for all Ghanaian creatives, and not only creatives, but engineers, doctors, all STEM, anything you do when you feel like you want to be spotlighted and you want to be highlighted. Hey, come to Ghana, come to the Gwinnett team, come to Ghana Girls Connect, or Stuck in the Middle podcast, whatever you want, we got it.
Hey, I like it. Hey.
Yeah.
How do you find time? Like to balance life and everything you got going, podcasts, with YouTube, blogging. How do you find time to, have fun or, relax?
Relaxing consists of binging Netflix. That's what that is.
What are you watching right now?
Mindhunters. I'm telling you guys, so when I leave here, I've planned to date me and my friend Tolani. We're binge watching Mindhunters. I don't know if you guys saw that season on Netflix. It's crazy. I don't have any time, but I watch a lot of television. Like, you know what I mean?
Mixed up with what you love.
Yeah, like
you watch Money Heist?
No.
Hey, get into that.
I saw that. Wait, but isn't it like in Spanish?
No, it's in English.
It's in English?
So yeah, it's good stuff.
Is it? Have you watched what did I just finish? Okay, so now I'm on Hulu. I used to be on Netflix, but now I'm on Hulu.
You send me your password.
It's not even my password. It's not even it's not you. I don't pay for nothing. It's not even mine.
Yo, she don't pay for food. Don't pay for nothing.
I'll find if you know that I'm watching your Hulu, don't worry. I'm not telling nobody. Okay. But there's a show on Netflix called Hulu called Big Little Lies. I don't know if anybody's seen it.
I've seen the promo for it.
Big Little Lies. Euphoria was crazy for my saves. My Saints.
Don't watch it.
I was glued, and it was a lot of prayer going into it, but Euphoria is crazy. Yeah. That show is good.
I couldn't make it past 5 minutes.
No, it's really bad. Like, it's bad, but it's a well-produced show.
Yeah.
I was like...
The soundtrack is good.
The soundtrack is insane. Yeah. I was like, God, why am I so emotionally invested? Anyways, yeah, like, I watch a lot of TV. That's where I kind of decompress my mind because I feel like my mind is always running. I know as a creative, your mind is always running at 100 miles an hour. And I go out to eat. Like, I like dining.
Yeah.
Like, I know people like to travel and people like to, go to the club and stuff. Mine is like eating well and watching Netflix.
Man, I gotta, like, AK, my brother who's, in La La Land right now. He always likes to close with a special question. I got mine. I'm starting something new.
Hey, and I'm the first guest.
You're the first guest to answer this question.
All right.
What are you most curious about right now?
What am I most curious about? Yo, who gonna win the next election, yo? I'm not even joking.
Yo, that came out of left field.
I'm not even joking. I was just watching the news. I'm like, who gonna win? Like, I can't do this another 4 years. It's like, nah, okay, wait. What am I most curious about?
That is so deep. That's deep.
It is. Aren't y'all curious? Like, I'm trying. Who gonna win? Because I can't afford because people trying to get visas. Like, and youngins ain't getting their visas. Like, they trying to go back home, and you can't even come in to go back home. Like, what's going on? Okay, I'm gonna answer it like for real. What am I most curious about? I feel like that's really I don't know. I think that's it. That's really all I'm most curious about.
That is deep.
It is, but that's
like I didn't expect that at all.
I don't know what else anybody else on this country could be curious about. You see all that stuff that's going on in the news? It's crazy, and I know our audience is African.
Yeah.
And my grandma can't go back home. They not trying to approve her visa.
Yeah, you can't go in and if your paper's not right, you can't go and come back.
Come back. So I'm
stay
like,
put.
stay put before you gone forever. Seriously, stay put. You gotta protect your life because you might not come back.
Hey, more funny, yo.
No, for real.
Listen, if y'all enjoy what y'all watching, listen, please hit subscribe more. I appreciate you for coming through, kicking it with me.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
We were supposed to have a couch talk with you.
Okay.
And Foggy Raw. And what's her name?
Dana
Bowden and her husband about entrepreneurs and marriage, entrepreneurs, and you know what I'm saying, in love life. I feel like that should happen sometimes. Yeah, man.
Of course.
'Cause I know that's your girl. She's been on the pod.
She is my girl.
Yeah,
I do. She's really awesome. I went to her event, which was amazing. I normally don't like women empowerment event because I just feel like it'd be vain and people just slinging their arms around.
Yeah.
But I felt like this jump
was like that.
It was like that. It was really empowering. I don't remember anything from it, but I just remember in that moment, I was like, you know what? I'm about to go and record a video. I'm about to go record a podcast. I feel good.
Man.
So,
and you know what I'm saying? One thing I didn't mention was your live event as well. Over 100 guests.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
May 18th. Anything, in the future you planning?
Yeah, so
Part 2.
God willing, we gonna do one this year in the wintertime, but it's looking like we might have to do another next year around like probably March, not May, because May is a little too busy.
Yeah.
It was insane because everybody was hitting me like, I can't make it, and like
it still was packed.
I thought it was gonna be empty in there. I literally was like, Lord, even though we were selling tickets, I was like, these people can't come. Like, these are my friends. That literally, it was crazy. And God really showed out, and he showed me that day. He was like, you are moving in your purpose. Just let me keep ordering your steps. And so,
man,
that's my little baby, my little podcast.
I can't wait for the next one. I'm gonna pull up.
Yeah, I can't wait for y'all next
one.
one.
When we cut the camera and lights, I'll tell you why I ain't pull up. But
Okay.
She's like, okay, I want to get the tea. Hey, listen, if you want to get more tea from Moe Digga, you know what I'm saying, follow her on all social media platforms. She is accessible. You can just type MoeDigga.
MoeEDIGGA.
My bad. Sorry.
That's
Listen,
That's Twitter.
Appreciate you again coming through. This has been fun. And listen, if you are watching on YouTube, hit subscribe. If you are listening on the audio, Spotify, all that good stuff, do a screenshot, send a link to your best friend and your ex so they can know what you're listening to. This is Stuck in Middle Podcast, and we out.
Peace.